The pen that wrote your limiting story is the same pen that can write your liberation. And that is the thought for today. Welcome to 7 Good Minutes. I'm Clyde Lee Dennis. Thanks for joining me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. In today's episode of 7 Good Minutes, we talk about rewriting your inner story and transforming your life. Enjoy. The stories we tell ourselves shape everything. They determine how we see our past, interpret our present, and imagine our future. But here's what most people don't realize. You're not stuck with the narrative that's been running in your head. You have the power to reset it, rewrite it, and transform your entire experience of life. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how to identify the limiting stories you've been carrying, why they no longer serve you, and most importantly, how to consciously craft a new narrative that empowers rather than imprisons you. Think about the story you've been telling yourself about who you are. Maybe it's that you're not good enough, that success isn't meant for you, or that you always mess things up. These stories feel so real, so permanent, but they're actually just thoughts you've repeated so many times they've become your truth. The beautiful thing is, if you created these stories, you can recreate them. Your inner narrative isn't based on facts, it's based on interpretations. Two people can experience the exact same event and walk away with completely different stories about what it means. One person loses a job and thinks, "I'm a failure." Another person loses the same job and thinks, "This is redirecting me towards something better." Same event, different story, completely different life trajectory. The stories that limit us usually form during moments of pain, disappointment, or fear. A child who gets laughed at for singing might create the story, "I'm not talented." A teenager who gets rejected might decide, "I'm not lovable." An adult who fails at a business venture might conclude, "I'm not cut out for success." These stories were protective mechanisms at the time, but they often outlive their usefulness and become prisons. Here's the profound truth. You are not your story. You are the author of your story, and authors have the power to edit, revise, and completely rewrite their work. The question isn't whether you can change your story, but whether you're willing to pick up the pen. Start by becoming aware of the stories you're currently telling yourself. Listen to your inner dialogue. Notice the themes that repeat. Pay attention to the words you use when you describe yourself, your capabilities, and your future. Are these stories empowering you or limiting you? Are they based on who you were or who you're becoming? Once you identify a limiting story, you can begin to question it. Is this story absolutely true? What evidence contradicts it? How has this story served you, and how is it now holding you back? What would be possible if you no longer believed this story? Then comes the beautiful part, consciously crafting your new narrative. This isn't about lying to yourself or creating fantasy. It's about choosing to focus on the aspects of your experience that empower growth rather than those that reinforce limitation. It's about interpreting your past as preparation rather than punishment, seeing your challenges as character building rather than character defining. Your new story should honor your journey while opening doors to your potential. Instead of, "I always struggle with money," try, "I'm learning to create financial abundance." Instead of, "I'm bad at relationships," consider, "I'm growing in my capacity to love and be loved." Instead of, "I never follow through," explore, "I'm developing consistency and commitment." The key is to make your new story believable to you right now. If the gap between your current story and your desired story is too wide, your mind will reject it. Build bridges. Create stepping stones. Let your new narrative be aspirational, but achievable. Remember, changing your story isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice. Your old stories have momentum. They'll try to reassert themselves, especially during challenging times. This is normal. Simply notice when the old narrative surfaces. Acknowledge it with compassion, and gently redirect your attention to your new story. The story you tell yourself becomes the life you live. When you reset that story, you reset your possibilities. You're not editing your past, you're authoring your future. and that future is waiting for the story only you can write. That does it for today's episode of 7 Good Minutes. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on the platform you're listening on. Until next time, let's be civil to one another out there. Thanks for listening.